Welcome back to Everything Whiskey. I'm Callum,
I'm Stan.
and today we're looking at the Kinglake Distillery.
Alrighty, so today we're doing, thankfully, a non-budget blend. We've kind of gone up from that a little bit.
It's a single
I said
malt.
not a non-budget blend
Oh.
because we've been used to doing that. So this one is a small batch Australian one. So this video is probably not going to get many views at all because it's like super new as well. But it's interesting nonetheless if anyone does get their hands on it.
Yeah, this is our first super craft one.
Yeah, so, well, I mean, Bakery Hill was pretty craft, wasn't it?
Yeah, but like these guys have just started.
Just
Bakery Hill's
started.
been around for a while.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, anyway, they're called Kinglake Distillery. They're from Kinglake, which is central Victoria, bottom of Australia. Basically, it's a super kind of like hard place to get to. It's like really rocky, not rocky, it's really mountainous, lots of kind of muddy roads and stuff. It's not like you pass by every time you go to somewhere important. It's like an off the beaten track kind of area. Basically, it was started by Sam Lowe and Chantel Davies, I think, Daniels. And 2018, they started. They basically just wanted, instead of these kind of small batches of kind of really unique releases, they wanted to kind of figure out a way to have, because it technically is small batch because they're small and craft, but they wanted it to be a consistent release of something quality, the highest quality they could produce, but something that'll be consistently there all the time. Yeah. Which that's probably the best way to go when it comes to like trying to get your foot in the market and like have people find out about your brand, because they want to not be like, I walked into Dan's one day, saw it there, got it, loved it, haven't seen another bottle from that distillery in 6 months. And then they did release another one, but it's $250.
Exactly.
This is like, it's consistent. It's still not cheap. It's $110, $100 I've seen it go for. Yeah. So it's not like cheap, but it's also not ridiculous either.
For Australian, it's fairly cheap as well.
Yeah, for Australian. And for how small and new they are. They basically, I was going to say, it's a 500ml bottle, so it is smaller as well. Yeah. But it's also 46%. It's a nice percentage. That is the minimum percentage you can bottle at without having to chill filter a whiskey to keep it clear when someone puts it on ice. I don't know if they still did chill filter it, but
yeah, I don't know.
I doubt it though. There won't be, or I'm pretty sure there won't be any fake colouring in it, although Australian laws are pretty kind of like confusing and hazy when it comes to those kind of specific areas. And basically this, we're assuming since starting 2018 that it's probably 3 years old.
I mean, I would guess if they started in 2018, it was bottled this year, so 3 years. If
3 years is probably like, but also, it's hard to know when, what counts as like a distillery starting. Is that when they finally fired up their stills, or is that when
cut the ribbon to open?
You don't know, like if they were aging it beforehand. I doubt it. This is probably 2.5, 3 years max. Either way, it doesn't look or smell thin and light and stuff. It's pretty oily and pretty rich. It's a nice balanced kind of smell. The whole deal with these guys is they do kind of grown. They source their barley and stuff locally and also a little bit internationally. And they also source. No, they also predominantly source ex-bourbon barrels, smaller form factor, not like tiny ones, but just smaller, not full-size barrels. Ex-bourbon barrels that then get recoopered in Australia, in Victoria, that they use. They also offer on their website, like you can buy a barrel from them, like choose what kind of like whiskey you want filled into it, or that they already offer. You can buy it for like $2,500 or something.
But so you can own your own barrel, basically. Yeah,
you can own your own barrel pick, like, and that's good. Like, I know a lot of distilleries do that, but they do not advertise it, and sometimes it can get very expensive
and messy as well.
Yeah, and messy. Yeah. So
do you remember that?
I mean, $2,500 is not cheap, but it seems like a lot less of a hassle.
There was a story I read a couple of years ago. They were doing that, the barrel pick kind of things, and some guy advertised they sold all their barrels, but he didn't actually do anything. He just took the money and just ran. So,
people are investing in whiskey barrels, like investing in barrels and like numbers of barrels aging and stuff, and they're investing in it. Apparently, it's like a full-on market that people are making a lot of money off. So
We should probably jump into the nose, but
we probably should.
we're like, 5 minutes in?
But like, if anyone internationally will probably be able to get their hands on it anyway, but still.
This is very...
For the locals.
Do you know what this reminds me of? Japanese. Very heavily Japanese influenced.
With more grass.
Grass, but it's very floral, very sweet.
It's got that floral note. It's got more earthiness. Like, there's some weird... Although I've kind of gotten some ashy pepperiness from Japanese whiskey before.
Yeah, I'd say like a ashy pepper as well. It's
Also,
like a mix of
chocolatiness.
everything we've been drinking lately.
Yeah. There's a nice chocolatiness though in
There
it.
is,
that
yeah.
I
It's like a
wasn't
dark,
expecting
rich
it.
flavour.
It's like there's a tiny bit of rye in this, and I don't know if there is. There probably isn't. They don't. Well, from what I could find, I couldn't find anything about
it's
that
nothing on the
specific
bottle
mash
either.
bill. It might just all be barley. But there is some kind of like cool rye notes in there, but like super subtle, like as if they put in like a tiny bit in there.
Made from 3 different malts, grown and killed in New South Wales.
It's pretty oily.
Yeah.
Like it's thick on the taste. I just jumped into taste, probably shouldn't have. More earthiness and stuff. It's not like insanely complex, but it's super cohesive. Everything there makes a lot of sense.
I was given a very bad... the guy I bought it off gave me a very
why'd
bad
you say
impression.
that?
He's like, it's very harsh, it burns a lot.
Yeah, it'll burn a lot. Yeah, be careful.
He's like, yeah, it's very, very confronting with his words. And it's not at all. It's very... It's not mallow, but it's like like intertwined. Like they mix all...
Jumping out with ethanol or anything, it's not super hot. Like it makes sense. It's cohesive. Nice clean barley notes. Like it's not it's got the maltiness, but it's not a funky maltiness. It's got an earthy, rich note to the whiskey itself, but the barley notes is more like just clean toasted barley.
I am getting like a slight funk. It's not offensive.
I'm getting it, but I'm saying like it's not as funky as like what you get in some space.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. But there's a really nice like almost cashew at the very end. It's like a waxy cashew, probably like mid palate towards the end.
Yeah, I can get that. That slight sweet, waxy nut kind of note. Super light. There's a tiny bit of like oily peatiness that pops through near the end.
I was thinking peatiness, but like I wouldn't call it peat.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's like it's weird. It's like just a little bit of smoke ash, but also a little bit of the unburnt, non-dried peat, like that just kind of vegetation note.
I'd say like Lafroig, but it's not. Like it's along the lines of Lafroig, not like an Ardbeg. It's not smoky. It's more briny.
Yeah, it's like got the
but there's nowhere near like Lafroig level.
It's still nowhere near the brininess or smokiness of Lafroig. But it's I know what you mean. It's like it's less savory barbecue smoke and more kind of like vegetational, you know. I do like it. I'm happy with this. I'm glad that there's more Australian whiskies coming out that are.
I'm happy that it's more nice affordable and affordable. Yeah. Because like
that's like what we with Bakery Hill were like. Even if this was still 500ml bottle and still $220 or whatever it was, but it was nice, or at least for us, if it was actually, if we enjoyed it, it wouldn't be as bad. So 500ml bottle, $110, $100. It's not cheap, but like it's still worth trying, and you might find that it's a unicorn for you. Like it's pretty unique, but it's not like insanely complex.
I'd say this is like a Japanese/Scotch, and it's got quite a bit of body, which most Australian whiskey has body, but this is a lot thicker and richer compared to other Australian whiskies that I've tried.
It's like a which one is it? Not Suntory, Nika. You know how that Nika's a lot more like Scotch oriented, their whiskey. Yeah. So it's kind of like that, but with more light earthy. There's more earthiness and more oiliness in it. I like it.
I really like how well balanced the barley, like all the different malts. I think they said 3. I don't know if it's 3 types of barley or 3. I don't know.
Whatever, yeah.
But I like how the barley or malt intertwines with the floral notes. Like they don't overpower each other. They kind of hold each other up, which is really good.
Yeah. It's quite a fresh tasting whiskey. Like, it's not like a insanely sweet caramel, dark fruit, like one of those ones where it's kind of like a dessert. This has got like a lot of fresh notes in it. And I'm not getting like an insane amount of complexity from it, but what I am getting is a good level of cohesion between the flavors. They're like actually working together really well. So it's doesn't really matter that there's not an insane amount of layers to it.
I reckon this whiskey we'd have to spend like a night on review.
Yeah, I
like
reckon you
actually
should,
sitting down with it and getting into it.
It's weird. It's like unique, but also not like it doesn't. It's not an outlier, but
it's not
also
groundbreaking.
unique. It's kind of like it's just taking some good things from multiple different areas and putting them all together, but they've taken things that aren't usually found together that often. It's flavors you've had, but all together that you don't normally have together. But it works really well. I really like that dark chocolate taste. The earthiness, the freshness, the fruits, a little bit of sweetness and floral notes. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Everything Whiskey. If you liked it, leave us a like. If you want to see future episodes from us, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. If you do, see you next one.
Cheers.
Cheers.